You talked about Mamadou Sakho before the Arsenal match. You said he was still being looked at. Have you got any update for us on his progress?
No, unfortunately not. I mean, obviously, the doctors are still anxious to make certain that they look into the injury closely and that they don't come out with any comments, if you like, or any prognosis which could, be then used against them. So at the moment, my medical people are telling me that, it's still early days. They're still looking into the injury, and all I know is that it's a proper injury. We're not talking about someone who's, going to play on Sunday against Man City, but I don't know quite how bad the injury is or how long it will keep him out, and I'll have to wait until our medical department, give me the details and give me the green light, really, to say this is the injury, this is the extent of it, and this is likely to be the outcome.
Sure. But as a very experienced man in football, Roy, do you have a gut feeling? Do you sense it is going to be weeks and months?
I fear it's going to be weeks at least, without that doubt. And it was a very serious injury to happen to someone who'd worked so very hard to get himself back able to play again. It was very cruel, I thought, that to play a first half against Wolves, first game he's played for us for a long time after many injuries, and to get another big injury, I thought that was particularly cruel. But he's come back before, and I'm always hopeful that an injury which could potentially be a long one won't be a long one, because he'll find a way of getting himself back fit again.
Well, you're up against Manchester City. I mean, what do you make of them at the moment, and the way that they are playing, the run that they are on? They go into the weekend just 4 points off the lead.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, I think that they are just an excellent team. I think they've been an excellent team over the last 3 or 4 years. Certainly during the time that Pep's been there, they've been excellent right the way through. They have such a lot of good quality players. Their style of play is very difficult to deal with because they keep the ball so well and their movement is so good. And of course, they've got finishers in the team as well. I mean, at the moment they're missing, of course, Aguero, and they've had to miss Jesus, but still they've been winning matches and coming away, climbing the table very steadily. So I've got nothing but praise for them, nothing but good things to say about them. Am I looking forward to going there? Well, not really, because I know it's going to be a very, very hard ask for us, and we're going to have to show every bit as much discipline and energy and effort, really, that we put in tonight's game. We have to go and do it again, and it's only a couple of days before that game. But one should be looking forward to it because it's a fantastic stadium and you're playing against a fantastic team. And the reason we're in the Premier League really is to play these games, even though we know that we go in as underdogs. And there's a good chance that, we'll find it very hard to keep our head above water. That's the quality that they have.
There's one of their players that is catching the eye, very much at the moment is Phil Foden. He got Manchester City's winner against Brighton in their previous match. It's now 8 goals for the club, I think, this season, 2 as well for England. What have you made of his development as a player? And listen, on the international front, is he a player that you would have liked to have worked with?
Oh, absolutely. I think he's been very well managed by the club. I think that they've integrated him into the first team in a very clever way, very sensible way, which of course you can do when you have so many other good players around you. You can afford to leave a player of his quality out because you've got other fantastic players in your squad. And I think they've done that very well. But he's obviously worked very hard at his game. He's got better, as everyone, I guess, knew he would, because with the Premier League experience and the Champions League experience, and now being in the international setup, he's going to get better and better. And it's fantastic, really, that after losing a player of David Silva's quality, who really lit the league up over a long period of time, they've now managed to find another player from their own ranks who's looking sort of likely to take over that mantle. But he's only just one of the players we're very concerned about, and I'm certainly a great admirer myself of Kevin De Bruyne. So if he's listening to this and decides he wants a day off on Sunday and Pep agrees to that, I'll be pleased not to see him.
Hear what you say, but just with Phil Foden, how important a player might he be for England this summer with the Euros?
Well, that's a question for Gareth. You know, I really don't like to be involved in that because Gareth's got an awful lot of good players to look at the moment, and a lot of very good young ones are coming through as well. And you have to be careful, I think, as a manager not involved in the international team, suggesting that this player is fantastic, because, you know, that will be for Gareth to decide how fantastic he is and how he fits into his setup. But I'm pretty certain that with the way he's playing and the matches he's playing and the way he's performing, he'll be very closely watched by the England team. And it'll be a question, if he gets his chance, of making certain he took it in the same way that Jack Grealish took his chance earlier on in this international calendar year with his performances. Because I think you could compare in some ways, although Jack's a little bit older, the situation between the two players.
But you went to Arsenal, you got something out of that match. What would it mean to go to Manchester City and get something out of that match as well?
Well, it'll be another little relief as you see the points total perhaps creep up, because it's nice to see your points total creeping up. It will, of course, be a great feather in the cap, because I don't think too many people will be expecting us to go there and beat them. So we go there very much as underdogs. But I'd like to think that they will respect us. They respect what we try and do and the way we try and play. So they won't take the game lightly. And it's up to us to make certain that they aren't allowed to take the game lightly by our own performances.
Roy, thank you. Listen, safe journey back and safe travels at the weekend.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any other broadcast questions? Katie, please. Katie Shanahan.
Evening, Roy. Hope you're well.
Thank you.
Hello. Another match on the road to Manchester City. Just a couple of questions on the game. With Pep Guardiola saying the other night, it definitely feels as though they're back at their best after their win against Brighton, taking that now to 7 wins on the bounce. Do you agree with Pep's comments? And with that in mind, where do you see Manchester City in the challenge for the title?
I normally agree with Pep's comments, and certainly the 7 games in a row with victories, and often, you know, victories where they're not conceding goals or not conceding many goal chances. That's always a worry for an opponent like ourselves, because, you know, if they're not conceding goals, they're always likely to score them with the quality of players they have at their what's the right word? I can't think of the word. The quality of players they have to choose from. I have to use a different way of expressing myself. And also the fact that they're in such good form. So it's going to be a very, very tough ask for us. Where will they be at the end of the season in the championship race? They'll be right up there. You know, it's going to be good this year. You know, there's so many teams doing well that Liverpool totally ran away with it last year, really, and Man City had run away with it the year before. This year, to be frank, there are several teams that I think will still be wanting to be, you know, bringing their straw to the water and staking their claim at the end of the season. And I would be unbelievably surprised if Man City weren't one of them.
City have recently suffered, unfortunately, a COVID outbreak at the club, but they've still managed to maintain that impressive run of form that we've spoken about. What do you think that says about their depth in squad to be able to get through such a difficult spell?
Well, I think you need a big squad if you're one of those top teams, because they play so many more games than the rest of us. You know, a 3-game week for us is something quite unusual, whereas for a team like Man City, it's not unusual at all, because they're going to go a long way in the cups, and they're also going to play in the European competition. They're playing in the Champions League and hopefully qualifying with 6 matches before the knockout stages. So they need a big squad, and they don't just need a big squad in terms of numbers, they need a big squad in terms of quality of players. And they've put that together, of course. It costs them a lot of money to do that, but that's what it takes if you're going to be right up there and be a contender to win the Premier League and to win the Champions League. So as an opponent, like ourselves, it's always a daunting task to go there because you know that you're going to be probably under the cosh for a long period of time, and that the quality of pressurising, which might get you some success against teams in and around you, might not be good enough to get you success against a team that are so technically good as Man City.
And just finally from me, you've said previously that the knife has been taken from your players' throats a little, with Palace pulling clear of the relegation zone now on 23 points. In your experience, do you find that players relax a bit and play better football when the pressure has been taken off a little?
Well, to be frank, we've not been under pressure this season. I mean, it's wrong of me to suggest that with 22 points already before tonight's game, and the team at the bottom, the third bottom one has 12 points. When you're, quite frankly, when you're 10 points clear at any stage in this league, if you're 10 points clear at the top or you're 10 points clear from the team at the bottom, you're not under enormous pressure in that respect. And I shouldn't be suggesting the knife's at the throat, so that was probably an ill-advised term to use. But it's nice to know that there's a little bit more slack, maybe, that you can cut the players, that maybe they will feel that they can try things a little bit more and not be so devastated if it doesn't quite go their way, because it's always going to be a big chance that when you go to places like Man City, you're going to lose the game. And that doesn't just apply to the Crystal Palaces of the world, it applies to Liverpool's, Arsenal's and Chelsea's and Tottenham's and Man United's of the world. And Leicester City, anyone else for that, man, you want to add?
Thanks very much, Roy. Good luck at the weekend.